This is the plaintiff, Leslie. He says he's done the defendant's taxes for 5 years, and he laid out some money for her when he had to make an amendment to her returns. The woman promised to pay him back. She now refuses, and he has no other recourse but to sue her here for the $671 he's owed. This is the defendant, Tamara. She says the plaintiff royally screwed up her tax returns, and when they deducted $1,152.65 from her bank account electronically, she freaked out. The plaintiff agreed to pay for his mistakes, and she owes him nothing. She's accused of taxing the taxman.
All parties, please get ready. People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Maleon presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. Leslie, you're suing Ms. Tamara for $671 that you fronted on her tax liability and she refuses to repay. You're an accountant?
Yes.
And you've been doing her taxes how long?
From 2018. We never had an issue.
Okay.
And
how long have you been in practice?
I was an auditor. I came to this country in 1981, was in public accounting, and then I went into my own in 2004.
Okay, are you a CPA?
No, I'm just an accountant.
And then, so tell me what went wrong here in her taxes for 2021?
Okay. She came to my office on February 21st.
Of 22?
2022.
Right.
To do her 2021 taxes.
Okay.
She was possibly the first client that came. Every year, we get a new software to prepare the taxes.
A new software?
Yes.
Okay.
So, you got to get familiar with it. So she came, I did the return. She was not quite happy because she had to repay the government.
Why? Okay, hold on. You did the return and she wasn't happy because she wasn't getting a refund?
That's right.
She would have to actually pay money.
Yes, she was getting a refund on the New York State of $443, and she had to pay the federal $671. Subsequently, the return was prepared in 21st. It was accepted by the federal and New York State, and she keep calling me that the government ain't taking out the money. I'm
the
worried.
671?
Yes.
That the IRS hadn't taken out the money from her account?
Yes.
And it was supposed to be taken out of her account because that's how you filed it electronically. You said this is the account number and the routing number and whatever else.
Correct.
But the IRS just hadn't gone around to collecting.
That's
all right?
correct, Your Honor. So I keep telling her, I have no control over that. The IRS, because of the pandemic, maybe they are in backlog.
Oh, you think? Because not only are they in backlog, but then they keep sending letters saying you haven't paid your tax. No, you haven't cashed a check. All right, go on.
She keep telling me, they didn't take the money out. She don't want a problem with the IRS. I don't want no problem with the taxes. I said, Mr. Maher, there's no problem. Your return is a very simple tax return, but you still keep bothering me. Since they didn't take it out, and I looked in the return, let me check and see if there was something I did wrong or whatever. Everything was fine. Then I realized on the New York State return, I didn't check a box that says, even though I said she's a county resident and a city resident, they have to check a box that says she occupied an apartment. So New York City taxes was not taken out. So I filed it because I didn't bother to call her to tell her I'm filing a return.
Well, you should, because she's expecting $440 and she didn't get that then, right?
Yeah, but she keep telling me she didn't get your refund, she didn't want a problem.
Right, but if she's telling you I didn't get my refund of $444 and she wants it, and you realize you screwed up, and now you need to check a box, and now that you check the box, that changes her refund to what?
It changed her into a liability of
right, so instead of getting $444, she's going to have to pay how much?
The New York change, so she has to pay about $262. Yes.
Okay, so instead of getting 444, which is what you told her,
Yeah.
she has to pay 262.
Correct.
All right, now that's what she owes, but you kind of screwed up because you didn't check the box.
That was not the issue. The issue.
Now we're going to get to the
Okay.
federal money right now, but
Yeah.
we're talking about why she's mad. All right, so then what happens with the 671? The feds don't take it out of her account.
She was not mad about she has to pay. She didn't know about this.
Well,
She
why
was
would?
mad
Okay,
about the
so then I have a
671.
better question. Why wouldn't you tell her?
She keeps telling me, I'm worried about my taxes. I'm worried about my taxes.
Well, then that's not a reason not to tell her. That's a reason to tell her. If you know that you made a mistake on the New York taxes that you corrected, and you know you have misled her into thinking she's going to get a $444 refund when in fact she has to pay $262, why would you not tell her that?
Well, I told her after the fact.
Why wouldn't you tell her that as soon as it happened and you realized it?
Because I feel she's going to just come up with a...
Yeah, with good reason. She's going to get mad at you. All right, so you don't tell her. You hide it from her, and then what?
I went on the April 18th. The IRS did not take out the money. So I told her, I'm going to pay this money,
What?
$671.
Wait, what? You're paying it out with your funds?
Yes.
Why?
So that she does not get any penalty or interest because they didn't take it out. She's worried. I said, I will front the money. You pay it back to me. So I paid it out of my funds.
But she would never have to pay penalty or interest if you can prove that you filed it and gave the routing number and the bank account.
Correct. But
Right, so there's never a chance that she would pay penalty and interest. So why would you pay it? Do you do that all the time? Because I want you to do my taxes. Are you paying everybody's taxes and then hoping they pay you back?
It's probably maybe the second time I've done it.
Yeah, why would you do that?
But I just don't want to create any other additional issue with her.
Really, at this point, when you paid that $671, did you know that the New York thing was wrong?
No.
When did you find out that the New York thing was wrong?
April 20th.
Okay, so 2 days later, you find out the New York thing is wrong, and then you don't tell her. And why don't you tell her? Because she owes you $671 and you want her to pay it.
No, I told her after the fact. I was asking
When
her,
did you
but
tell her?
I was
When
demanding-
did you tell her?
I tell her around April 20th that I...
No, April 20th is when you found out. You didn't tell her when you found out. You told her after the fact. So it's not on April 20th when you tell her. When did you tell her?
I think it might be in May.
Okay. And so when you tell her in May, why are you telling her?
Because I told her that they're going to have to pay additional taxes because the New York City tax was not taken out.
Right. So you always have to tell her because otherwise she's not going to know to pay her taxes. Right?
Right.
So why would you hide it from her between April 20th and May whatever?
Just so I don't have to hear from her again.
Oh, I see. That's how you do business. She's too loud and too obnoxious and too nervous. So it's better for you if you don't have to deal with her and tell her about your mistake.
Yes.
Yeah, doesn't that sound like garbage when I say it out loud? Because you're a professional getting paid to do a job, right?
Okay. Yes.
I mean, come on, you have to be embarrassed. Are you embarrassed at all?
No.
Okay, first of all, you're a fool for paying her federal taxes, so you should be embarrassed about that. And second of all, you found a mistake and didn't immediately tell your client. So I would never have you do my taxes, ever. Now, what excuse do you have for not paying him $671 of your federal income taxes that you owed? What is your excuse for not paying him?
Okay. I came to Mr. Leslie to do my tax return, and he filed the wrong tax return by putting the wrong employee information on.
Okay, well, we're talking about like a prior year.
This year.
Okay,
But
this year. What did he do?
he put the wrong employer information on.
Okay, but that didn't cost you anything.
It did, because on April 22nd, they took out $705 out of my checking account.
I thought you were telling him that they didn't take any money out of your account.
That was besides the $671. They took additional $705.
Did they give that back to you?
Never.
But they took an additional $705
they took
because of what? Show me what you're talking about, because I don't
Absolutely.
understand what you're
Your Honor,
saying.
that's for New York
Yes.
State.
They took
Is that New York State or is that, well, it shouldn't be New York State. They should only take 200 and something, you said.
No, because the original return, there was a refund coming of 443. And then the amended return was 705. That's New York State return.
So it was.
Stop. Okay, you are talking about New York State. So has taken out of my checking account $705 without even knowing about it. According to your tax returns, I was supposed to be getting back $430. It's $444, which I checked online to where is my refund, and it doesn't excised. I am extremely mad. Would like to know what is going on. Please call as soon as you get this. So they did, why did New York take $705 out of her account?
That's the amended return.
Yes, but you are telling me that the amended return caused her to have a tax liability of 200 and something.
No, that's the net. If the original return, Your Honor, she has to get a refund of $443.
She never got that.
Well, then New York State, she's going to have to call New York State.
No. New York State took out $705
because of the amended return.
I don't understand. If they
on the IT 201.
Stop and listen to me. Listen to me. I asked you what your mistake cost her. You said, well, instead of getting 444, she was going to have to pay 200 and something. I would expect to see New York State taking out 200 and something. That's not what they took out. They took out 705.
No, Your Honor.
No, they did. I'm showing it to you.
Yeah, but I'm saying there's two returns you're going to look at there. You have an original return, IT 201, you have the exhibit, and you have an IT 201X.
Right.
On the IT 201, she will get the refund of $443.
Have you ever gotten the 400?
I got it on August 11th.
Okay, so you got it late, but you got it on August 11th, and how much did you get?
$443.
Which means that you had a tax liability for New York State of $262. I know you're angry because he doesn't know what he's doing and told you you'd get a 444 because he didn't mark a box he should have marked. I get it. And I know it's not the first mistake, but it's not his tax liability, it's your tax liability. And all of this happened, why? Because a box wasn't checked?
Yes.
Because he put the wrong employee information.
That's a different issue. Isn't that the issue with the feds?
That's the feds.
That's the feds.
Issue
so,
here
but the
is
bottom line is that this is what you owed New York State. So I know it's not what he told you you'd get, but he doesn't owe your taxes. So in the end, you are out $262, which is what you're supposed to be out for New York State.
4 days later, I got another letter from the IRS.
And now we're talking about the feds.
That I owe $1,152 for last year's return that he made a mistake.
Okay, so let's see what happened there. Did you make a mistake on last year's return too?
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of. Did you notify him of this?
Oh yeah, and he said,
I guess it's not over yet. Just came home to find this, and then you send it to him, and he says this was taken care of with the amended return. Okay, no, hold on. What you're showing me, you said was from the IRS, but it's not. It's from New York State.
I'm sorry.
So
the front page said the IRS. I paid the IRS.
No,
the
I can't understand. Listen, I need to understand what you're saying because if I don't, I cannot sit here and deduct and figure out who owes who.
I understand.
What happened? You ended up getting a notice from the New York State Department of Taxation.
Right.
Saying what?
That I owe them $1,152
for a prior year.
Last year's tax return.
Did you pay that?
Yes, of course I did.
Okay. Why did you owe that?
I could explain that.
Yeah, explain that.
Okay, it's on the 2020 when the federal government, when we had the pandemic, the federal government allowed taxpayer $10,200 of unemployment compensation to be exempt.
From taxes.
Correct, on the federal government. New York State was sitting on the fence with, I think it was Governor Cuomo at the time, whether they were going to...
Well, no, by the time you have to file taxes, they're no longer on a fence because they have to tell people.
No,
so what happened?
It came in after.
What happened?
So I filed it and took the exemption on New York State. The program also lead me to
I'm sorry, if New York was on the fence, why did you take an exemption? Why didn't you have her just pay it? I don't understand what you're saying.
No. The software that I use did not take the exemption in New York State because it was not finalized. So we took the exemption on New York
what
State.
right do you have to take the exemption and not pay taxes on that money if New York State hadn't finalized that you didn't have to pay taxes on that money?
They didn't know which way it was going to go.
Well, what do you mean? At the time you owe it, so then you get a refund later, but you can't not pay it. So what ends up happening is you owe the money. So apparently, thanks to that error, you had to pay an additional $78.65. That's not fair, because an accountant should know not to take an exemption that hasn't been passed as an exemption. You should pay it, and then if if he decides to be generous with other people's money, he can go ahead and and you can get a refund. But he should know that that's the rule. You don't get to take exemptions that don't exist, hoping they come through. So he should have to pay the $78.65. But the rest of it is something that you owe, because that's what you owe. And it's the same with the federal government. Why is it that, other than the fact that he keeps making mistakes, which your remedy is stop going to him, all right? But why is it that you shouldn't have to pay the $671 that for some ridiculous reason he fronted for you? That is something you should have to pay.
Because I did not know when I'm going to get the $443.
Well, you're not going to get it at all.
He promised me that.
Yeah, he promised you, but as it turns out, here's the thing.
Yeah.
He made a mistake promising it to you, but you don't have a right to it if you don't deserve it. You understand that, right? He got too aggressive with your taxes, all right?
Yeah.
All right. So at the end of, and he forgot to mark a box on, so he forgets to mark a box. So things change. But my obligation is to see whether that change is something you owe or he owes. You owe it. The fact that he made a mistake doesn't mean he owes it. You legitimately owe it. You owed the New York State government $262. So you paid it. And if you have to pay $75 in interest, I agree with you that that's something that should come out of him. But where do you get off not paying him $671 in federal taxes?
Because first of all, I did not know that he really sent the check. He told me he sent the check, but with everything else that he lied to me about.
But didn't he show you the check?
He showed me the check, but he could have showed me a lot of other things. But, it was not something, he sent me
but have you ever did you ever go to the IRS to make sure it got paid?
I did not. He sent me all the paperwork.
Okay.
And then
have you ever heard from the IRS that you owed money after this?
No, I did not.
Right, because he paid your taxes. Okay. So why would you not have to pay him the taxes that you owed the federal government?
So he sent me a letter that he's going to take me to small claim court, and I said to him, I really don't feel that I should pay you all the money because...
Yeah, and you offered to pay him how much?
So I offered to pay him $300.
Based on what?
Based on everything that I went through.
That he made you stressed out?
That I made stressed out, that I had to spend another $1,152, another $705.
Okay, stop, because you're mounting a bunch of things together that don't belong together. You received notice from New York State that you had to pay how much? $1,000 what?
$1,150.
And what happened when you received that?
I paid it right away. I told him about it.
What's the $1,000? That's for what?
That's for the 2020, Your Honor, the unemployment insurance. The $10,200 that was exempt on the feds.
So the 1,000-something is because you got aggressive and took an exemption that didn't exist.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the 262 is because you forgot to mark a checkbox. All right. But those are all monies you owe, just like the 671 is monies you owe. They're actual monies you owe for taxes. So why wouldn't he get his 671 minus 78.65 equals $592.35. Why wouldn't he get the $592.35? I'll make him pay your penalties because it was his screw up. Mm-hmm. But why wouldn't he get the rest of it, which is your tax liability?
Because I did not get the $443.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to.
I was supposed to.
No. He made a mistake. He didn't mark a box. He thought you were supposed to. Now we know you're not supposed to. You're supposed to pay $262. So I understand that you're mad at him, but we all know, you, me, him, and New York State, that you're actually supposed to pay the $262.
I have to pay the New York State, but I'm still supposed to get from them $400.
You told me you got the $430 already.
I did, but I got it on August 11th.
Okay, but that's between you and New York State.
But that's after he filed it already, so there was
then that's New York State taking too long to do what they're supposed to do. Okay, but take that out on New York State. That doesn't mean you don't have to pay federal taxes.
Okay.
I'm ordering you to pay $592.35 to the plaintiff. The only thing I'm taking out is the interest, which is your fault, and she shouldn't have to pay that. Otherwise, you're paying the plaintiff what he fronted for you. Let me give you a piece of advice. One, go more slowly.
Yes,
okay? And pay attention to what you're doing, because people put their life in your hands, and they're very nervous about it, and they want to make sure you don't screw up. And we now have 3 screw-ups by you. And 2, don't front their tax liability. This is nuts. You're a professional. You're not supposed to be doing that.
Okay.
All right? Verdict for the plaintiff, in the amount that I said, the 500 and...
9230.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff prevails in this lawsuit. He's not going to get everything, but the bulk of what he sued for. The defendant is on her way out of the courtroom now. She's probably not very happy, but let's see what she has to say. Tamara, what do you have to say? What are you thinking?
I don't believe that I owed him that money, but the judge decided that, and that has to do.
All right. Well, listen, here's the bottom line question. You're going to use him to do your taxes again?
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay, I can understand that. All right, well, that's it. You owe $592 to the plaintiff. Good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see what the plaintiff has to say now. Leslie's on his way out of the court. Mr. Leslie, sir, how do you feel about the judge's decision? She gave you a lecture about being more careful, you know?
Yes, I know I have to do that, but I fronted her taxes for her. There's no reason why she shouldn't repay it. I agree with the judge to take out the penalties or the interest for the 2020 because I was aggressive in the tax return. But otherwise, she is definitely liable for the taxes I fronted.
Well, I do give you credit for being a nice guy and paying her taxes. I know you thought you'd get the money back from her, but, at least good for you from that perspective.
Thank
Will
you.
you do it again?
I will never front the money again for anybody.
You've learned a lesson the hard way.
Oh, yes.
All right, sir.
For sure.
So, Doug, look, this is not a malpractice case. I mean, that's what she's arguing. The fact is that she decided to try and take an exemption she wasn't entitled to. And if the IRS says no go, it's not in the accountant. She can take that chance. But if she loses, she's the one that has to pay. This is not an accountant problem.
Marilyn, have you ever been sent to the principal's office or had to serve detention? You're such a goody two-shoes.
Do you know how far back we have to go for that?
Oh, yes. I think you probably have to go back to
50
Queens,
years.
to Astoria in the 60s or something.
Oh, no. When I was a little child, because I lived here until I was 8.
Right.
And then I moved to Miami. So, no, I would never have gotten in trouble before then. But, I served detention when I was in middle school.
You were talking in line, and Sister Leonida hit you right on the
Sister
butt with
Leonida
that.
broke a yardstick on
your
my
butt.
behind.
That's right. So,
And we were when you say we were talking in line, I was 7 years old. We were practicing for our first Holy Communion.
Right.
I was talking to a kid named Philip.
Right.
And Philip magically stopped talking back. I'm like, Philip. And then I realized nobody's talking.
Right.
And then I see the nun walking down there, and she took her yardstick and broke it on my behind. When I came home,
your mom wasn't happy.
my mom saw me walking funny, and she said, "What happened?" And I told her, and I showed her, and she walked with me, dragging me by the hand to the principal's office to demand an apology.
She read them the riot act.
Read them the riot. No one touches my kid but me. That was what she said.
Right.
You know?
Right. That's my right and only my right.
That's my right and only my right. But no, in middle school, I'm sure I served it. It would always have been for talking. Talking.
I think I might have gotten it once or twice for being like late for homeroom or late for stuff. Being tardy, because
I was never tardy.
I was always in public school,
You're allowed to be tardy?
School. Well, I think we got away with more. Once in 5th grade or 6th grade, I got sent to the principal's office for getting in a fight with another kid, which was kind of funny because we get to the office and I'm just blood from the top of my shirt to my pants, right? And he's just got a few spots on him from me, right? Because he got me with one really good shot in the nose. And
who got in trouble?
We both did, of course.
Okay.
This is the plaintiff, Cynthia Robinson. She says the defendant's a crook who stole some of her tax refund money because he runs a shady accounting firm. There are numerous complaints about his business. The man owes her $323, and she's here to prove her case to the judge today because she wants her money, so she's suing. This is the defendant, Jonathan Baston. He says the plaintiff came into his office, agreed to his fees, signed the form confirming his price, and left. He filed her tax return. She received a refund check minus his fees. He's been an accountant for 15 years and owes her nothing. He's accused of taking too much money.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant, an accountant, is a crook who stole her tax refund. The defendant says he did her taxes and her eyes were wide open. It's the case of you tax my patience.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Cynthia Robinson, you're suing your tax preparer, Jonathan Baston. You're suing him because, according to you, he has overcharged you and filed your return without waiting for documents you told him to wait for.
Yes.
Tell me what happened.
So I called them up first.
Okay.
Because I looked it up online.
And online you had found a certain deal going on. What was the deal that they had said?
I have a copy of this.
Okay, so this is what you actually saw?
Yes.
On Yelp? Get $100 for filing your taxes with us. We are the best tax preparing service in Brooklyn. We also offer a tax refund advance of up to $2,700. Okay. And as it turns out, you eventually give her $100 for filing the tax return with them.
Correct.
However, you deduct it from her proceeds.
Correct.
Okay. We're here. That was a surprise to you.
Yes.
Yeah, you thought you were getting $100 for doing your taxes with them.
I know my English is not that good. I came from Europe. So when I read it back, and I was like, okay, this is $100 that
No,
they're
your
giving
English is
you.
mighty fine.
Yes.
Because my English is really good. And I am reading the following. Get $100 for filing your taxes with us. I file my taxes with you. You give me $100. Not I give me $100. And if your answer is, well, no, that's just an advance. Why don't you say get $100 advance? Why? Because that's not as enticing as me thinking you're actually going to hand me $100. Furthermore, the next sentence you put on this advertising is, we are one of the best tax preparation services in Brooklyn. We also offer tax refund advances of up to $2,700. If you are also doing something, that means it is a separate thing. You only mention advance in a separate sentence. So how am I going to know that that 100 is supposed to be in advance?
When Ms. Robinson or the plaintiff came into my store, that was one of the questions that she asked in terms of how does the $100 work? And the $100 is a marketing tool. It's a promotional thing that we use as to, people love
Right, but you got to be clear about it. You can't fool people into doing their taxes with you because they think that they're getting $100. You have to be very clear that it's a $100 advance. Get $100 for filing your taxes with us is not that clear. But the problems are more than that. Well, you end up going over there, and there's numerous fees that you say you're complaining about. But now, don't you have your clients sign something before you prepare their taxes, correct?
That is correct.
And that spells out the fees.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a copy of that with her original signature? I have copies, but I want to see the original.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Is this your signature on February 2nd?
No, it's not.
Well, show me the paper you did sign.
This is. What happened is that when I get into the office, I asked him first to confirm how much does it cost to do your taxes. He told me 125, and then after he told me it was 125, I told him I'm only waiting for one document, and there was a social security number. He told me it's not a problem, and I was also waiting for the 1088. When I have all those papers, then I will be able.
What are 1088s?
The 1088 is actually, because I'm a student, it's actually when you go to school, you pay for school.
And so they give you a form showing what you paid so that you can then get it discounted on your taxes.
Yes.
Or get a credit. Okay.
Yes.
Did you accidentally file the returns not realizing she was waiting for the...
No, Your Honor, because I can't file any returns without all of the information.
Okay. Did you have the document for the school when you prepared the returns?
I did not.
Well, then, okay. And did you tell her that you would wait for that before filing the returns? Because otherwise she misses that credit.
I told her that I could amend the return at any time. At the time when she came in to file, she processed the whole thing, she signed, we put it through, and then she followed up by
Show me
saying,
do you have your license on you?
Yes, my driver's license, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, this doesn't look at all like her signature.
Is this ad shady? What do you say?
It's shady.
Why?
Because it's like, it's trying to get your customer and not being
Luring them in.
Yeah.
Shady?
Yes, I think it's shady. I think there needs to be some disclosure to that up front.
What do you say, sir?
It's his own money. It's shady, sure.
It's shady because you're not really getting $100 going inside the courtroom.
Let me see every document you have that purports to have her signature. Are these your signatures? Why are you raising your hand? I'm asking you a question.
Yes, I'm gonna ask
wait,
you-
no, this is where you take a breath.
Okay.
And then he walks over to you and you answer me, are these your signatures?
No, that's not my signature. I don't sign like that's not my signature.
None of them are your signatures.
None of them.
Did you sign nothing when you were there?
No, can I say something?
Can you answer my question? Did you sign nothing when you were
No,
there?
I signed nothing because he was waiting for me to bring all the documents to him. This is the paperwork that he gave me.
She has a legitimate looking signature that has a whole name spelled out. The only time there's this is on your documents. So when, according to you, this is a document signed beforehand, according to her, this is a forgery. I am going to ask you to do something for me. I want
Yes.
you to write the numbers 1 through 9 here.
Okay.
Just write the numbers 1 through 9. Humor me.
Okay.
Just write it. Now, I'd like to know, did you ask her, are you a student?
I do. I'd
And
ask.
if you ask her, are you a student, did she lie?
She did not.
Okay, so she told you she was a student.
Correct.
So then why would you file the return without waiting for her student documentation?
Because she didn't have it on her, and I advised her, being that the government was shut down, which it was, I said, what we can do is simple. We can still put this in so that way you get, at least most of the bulk of your return. And being that the student credit is only but a certain amount of money that you're able to get.
What was a certain amount of money?
They only give you up to $2,500 as a credit, but it's a credit. It's not an actual, people get it mistaken. It's a credit. It's
Right.
not actual money that you get. It just
Right.
goes against your adjusted gross income.
Right. So when you said I was just going to file an amendment, were you going to charge her again?
No, I told her to come in and I would change it.
He's lying.
It's all right there.
I got to tell you, sweetheart, your twos are very distinctive. Take a look at this, Douglas.
Saw it on the way over.
You saw it on the way over?
Yep, because we rarely see it like that. I was surprised when I saw it.
Rarely see a two like that.
Absolutely.
That two on the date is very distinctive.
So why my signature is not the same?
I don't know.
Did you see
Maybe you
his?
change your signature. I don't know. You know what I do know? He has no idea how you make your twos. That I know. He can't possibly guess that you would make a two that looks like this.
Same. I'm not in the business of forging documents.
And your 9. Your 9 is incredibly distinctive because it looks like an A. You don't bring the tail all the way down. Look at the 9, how distinctive. So the one thing I do know is that he cannot forge your 2s and your 9s because he doesn't have a crystal ball. You see? So I believe you did sign for these fees. I don't like the $100. I think the $100 is misleading and you need to reword it. If it in fact is an advance, then say it's an advance. And don't say, get $100 for filing your taxes with us, because that means I got $100 just for filing my taxes with you. And then when you talk about an advance in the next sentence, that makes it that 100 less look like an advance. Okay? So I'm going to order you to return $100. Verdict for the plaintiff.
So the plaintiff gets $100 back from you, Mr. Baston, because she thinks your advertising is wrong. Right? How do you respond to that?
I mean, the judge made a call. I mean, our language, specifically does, it's not crystal clear. It does say come get $100, but when they get there, I explain how the $100 works, and at that point, it just becomes hearsay.
Are you going to change anything?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll update the website and the rest of our language to make sure that it says, with tax preparation, it's an advancement, whatever it needs.
If you make it clearer, then that's better. But I think you should,
Absolutely.
All right. Then you've learned something. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Ms. Robinson, you're not going to get $323 back, but you get $100 back. You're going to get that $100, okay?
I'm not here for the $100. I'm just trying to help other people when they do their taxes. They won't be scammed like I got scammed with him.
Well, you did convince the judge that
No, I didn't.
you deserve to get the $100, at least at that. Okay?
That's not the $100. He
Thank
took
you.
more than $100.
All right. Well, thank you very much. You keep at it. All right, Harvey.
Okay, I'm going to say this just one more time. This is why it is so important when you sign a contract with someone to read what you sign. There are terms that can really screw you over, and that you find out what happened after the fact, find out before the fact, and then you have options.
This is the plaintiff, Sadiku Tahiru. He says he hired the defendant to do his taxes, and the guy gave the IRS his bank information, and his refund went to the defendant instead of him. When the defendant sent him the refund, he stole $749.90 from him. The guy's a crook. He needs to be stopped, and he's suing for the money he took today in court. This is the defendant, Patrick O'Nafi. He says his clients don't always have the money to pay him for his services, so he gets paid once the IRS issues the refund. He's been in business for 30 years. Nothing he's doing is dishonest, because if it was, the government would have shut him down decades ago. Bottom line, the plaintiff hired him, and he was paid. He's accused of taxing a client.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff hired the defendant to do his taxes and says that the guy kept his refund check. But the defendant says the refund was his payment. It's the case of 1040. Over and out.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Mr. Tahiru, how did you find Mr. O'Nafi in order to ask him to do your taxes? Had he done any of your friends? Was he recommended? How did you guys find each other?
I was passing by, then they see the taxes
Okay.
sign on the wall,
So what was the agreement that he would do your taxes in return for how much?
200.
Okay, and what kind of taxes were these?
The one that people do every year.
Okay.
The income tax.
Do you have them with you, the taxes that he did?
I do.
May I see it?
Sure.
All right, so you go in to see him, and do you sign any contract with him?
Nope.
So it was just verbal?
Yeah.
All right, so you speak to him, and then do you come back with your records, or did you have them all with you right then?
Yeah, I speak to him, and then I went to the job. They give me the printout of the.
Okay, now what do you do for a living?
I drive the taxi.
Now, according to you, do you have a signed contract with him that states your rate?
Yes, ma'am.
May I see it?
These are the signed contracts. Thank you, sir.
Is this a copy? You're handing me a copy. Where's the actual signed contract?
That's the actual. Because I have other previous one from 2014, the same thing.
You did his taxes in 2014?
Yes, ma'am. Since 2014, I've been
Oh,
doing
you've done it since 2014?
Yes.
You did 2014?
15,
2015, 16, 17, and what? Let me see
yeah.
the contract information that you had with on those.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, let me
Right
see
here.
all of those.
Okay.
Have you always charged him $850?
Yes, ma'am.
You've always charged him $850?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this the first time you do your taxes with him?
No.
What does he always charge you?
200, 150. I don't know, maybe he's taking some money that I didn't know.
Yeah, every single time since 2014. That's what he's saying.
Well, I never hear about those charges that he's talking about. I always pay cash. He give me the receipt.
George has been doing it severally, but that's the only one I have.
Well,
No.
that's important because you're trying to, if you're going to argue to me that he's always paid $850, and you have the proof that he's always paid $850, don't you think it would be really compelling for you to show me that?
That's true.
Right. And so the form you gave me has a date of 2018, January 2018. Who's the one who puts a date in, him or you?
Him.
Oh, so
Not
he's the
me.
one who wrote
Yeah,
the
so
wrong
he's the one
okay.
that signed it. Mine
So
came in January.
it would be nice if that document said
Yeah.
2018
As you can
taxes.
see.
It doesn't. You're also telling me you have 4 different times that he's agreed to that rate.
Yes.
I'd just like to see that.
I don't know about it.
So why do you take the 200 from him?
Because it doesn't do his taxes one time. It comes like 5 different times. He will bring one document, it will come another day, it will come another day. He doesn't sit down in one place because...
Do you give him a receipt for the 200?
I did give him a 200 because that was the first
Wait,
payment.
you gave him a receipt. What'd your receipt say?
$200 for a down payment.
Can I see the receipt?
Oh, my God. I don't see what it says down payment. The agreement we did is 200.
No.
See, we're having a problem.
Yes.
And by we, I mean you. And I'm going to explain to you what the problem is. Number one, this receipt says 200, and then you know what you wrote underneath it? This is your receipt in your handwriting. You put a 0 like we're done.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the space for balance due. Why did you do that if it wasn't a $200 charge for his taxes?
The reason I do that because he wanted me to give him a receipt first for that $200 and I could
Yeah,
charge...
but so what? All you got to do is write on the balance 650 more owed. Why didn't you do
because
that?
that was going to be taken by the bank
It
on this
doesn't
behalf.
matter. It doesn't matter how you're going to collect it. It matters that you document that it's owed. Because he's arguing that you're a liar and
Yeah,
that you
but-
just took his money and that it was never owed.
It came in with the $200 as down payment.
I hear
for
you.
his
Now, do you hear what you wrote? Wait,
Yes.
stop. You say he came in with a down payment. You, sir, say that was the whole payment. And then you write a receipt saying it's the whole payment.
Yeah. You're right.
Right. That's where the problem lies. Now hand that to him. And tell me, do you read what you sign?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. What does that say you're supposed to pay?
It's my signature, but I didn't sign this paper. I don't know if
sorry?
I didn't sign this paper. This paper, I know what I'm signing, but I didn't sign this paper, for sure. I signed the document I gave you.
That's your signature.
That's my signature, but I don't know how it gets
You
here.
don't recall signing it? So what is it, magic? How did it get there?
I don't know how it gets here.
Because that paper says you're supposed to pay another $650.
Oh my God! This
Right?
is the forged paper. I never signed this paper, Judge. Your Highness, I swear, I didn't say. All I know is.
Did you call me Your Highness? Or did you say I'm being honest? I don't know which of the two.
Judge.
I'll take either one.
So does it make sense that an accountant would say, I'll just keep your refund check as the fee?
No, it doesn't make sense.
Why is that?
Because it's not his, and he's supposed to, I think, get back to me before doing.
But isn't it possible an accountant could actually do that and say, okay, you know what? I'll wait till the refund check comes if he can't pay me now, and I'll just take the refund.
The check should come into that person's name, not his name. So I don't know how we would cash it.
Okay, and there is one other thing we'll talk about. Going inside the courtroom.
Who whited out? Somebody put white out on that date.
Yeah.
Why?
He did that.
White out?
He did that.
Why would... You handed me this and it has white out on the date. Why?
You know why it's white? If it is not white out, if it was me that whited it out, I won't bring it to court.
Oh my God!
Here's what we're gonna do.
And I want a question. Why did he put a different routing number instead of my bank routing number that I gave him?
I don't know. Why is it a different
Yeah.
routing number to a different bank rather than his bank routing number for his deposit?
I saw it. I came back and asked him. He was like, "Don't worry about
Is
it."
that how you always do it?
No, the standard is when you file your taxes. I operate in a depressed neighborhood. People come to me without money to do their taxes. It's like pro bono. And therefore, when they
So
come
you
sign
have their
on the
return,
paperwork,
you have their refunds go to your
to the
bank.
not my bank.
What
It
bank?
is a bank refundo. Each year you choose any bank of your choice. Once they release the money from the Internal Revenue Service, it goes through the bank and
To what?
authorize-
When you say the bank, whose bank? It's
the bank-
not their bank.
No, the bank that we choose.
Right,
each
you
year.
being your side of
Yes,
the table.
yes.
Chooses a bank because you want to be able to get your fee
Yes,
before
ma'am.
it goes off.
Yes, Judge.
Yeah, I got
and
that.
then they transfer the money to his account.
Okay,
That's
so
what's-
can you show me a contract that has the actual information? Oh, I don't know, something like, this is for your 2018 taxes.
I don't know. That's what I have, but he did.
I'll never pay $800 to do my
Let's see.
Okay, you need to stop a second.
shut
Because
up.
according to you, he has paid $850 to do his taxes. So
Okay.
here's what we're going to do.
Yes.
All right? Everybody chill a
know, I
second.
don't know. Yeah.
You're going to go to your bank and find proof that at some point in the past, you argued with him, you're not entitled to another $650, and he gave you the money back. I'm going to give you a week to do that. And you're going to go back to your office, and you are going to find this piece of paper for 2014, 2015, 2016, just so I can see that you're right, he's always paid that, and he's just not realizing
Which I never
it.
signed.
That's how, well, we're going to see. And that's how we're going to figure this case out. I'm going to give each of you 1 week to find that out. If I don't find from what you're sending me or fail to send me that in fact this is agreed upon between the two of you, you will be refunding anything else that you took out. Because this little document right here makes it look like the 200 was all she wrote, with a big zero under balance due and a line.
And that's what I
Okay,
do.
so that's what's going to happen. You each have 1 week to find what you need to find. It's more important for you to find what you say you have than it is for you to find what you say you have, but try hard to find what you say you have.
The recording is gone. That's
No,
what-
the recording's gone, but the deposit where he gives you the money back,
It's
that's
like
somewhere.
since 2008.
Yeah, do your best, okay? But you try to find. Yeah, all right. Look how he turns around and looks at you guys again. I'm just going to give you guys a dress, okay? That's my rule.
All right, hold on right there, guys.
So the judge's verdict is pending in this case. Mr. Onofre, do you think you can go to your office and find the documents that the judge wants you to send to the court?
I'll try. I should be able to find it.
Because if you can't, then you got to give that money back to him, the $749 that he's suing for.
Yes.
It's all up
Yes.
to you in that case.
Yes.
All right. Well, good luck to you. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much. All right. Now, here comes the plaintiff. This is the first time you think you've ever heard of this, right?
This TV?
Yeah, no. The fact that he's been doing this to you maybe
No,
in the past.
he did that before I caught him. He paid me. So now he did that again because after he did that, I skipped some years not doing the taxes with him.
Yeah, okay.
So after that, I keep meeting him time to time. So we
you
become
went back to
friends.
him?
Yeah. So I think he learned about that mistake, and then he's going to be okay. And then he did that again.
Can you find that document, the check that he sent to you?
That's the problem.
Evidence
Now
of
I'm going to go to the bank and ask if it's like back there 2011 or I don't know.
Go look for it. It's important to you.
If they don't find it, then what's going to happen?
I don't know. Maybe you'll still prevail. All depends on what he sends to the court. Okay?
Okay.
Good luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Okay, good luck. This doesn't happen that often, Harvey. What do you think?
There's one other thing that makes this shady, which is how is the refund exactly the amount of the fee? That makes no sense.